In the early 2000s, the reality TV show market was booming with shows like Flavor of Love, I Love New York, and God, so many more. I literally watched them all. After several years of being on top, the production company 51 Minds and all of its shows came to a screeching halt because one of their talents was linked to a murder. This is the true crime story of reality TV show contestant Ryan Jenkins and his wife, Jasmine Fiore. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's true crime story is one that I actually remember really well. It's a big one that a lot of people actually don't know about. I remember when this was actually happening. I personally love I Love New York and Flavor of Love and like all of those shows, all the spin-offs. Seriously, I loved all of the spin-offs, even Real Chance at Love.
Or got some lookers.
Come on in here for your nickname there, girl. Ooh, pal. Mamacita. Yeah, I just call you Jump. Squat.
No, damn Sasquatch.
But there's a few wild ones to tame.
It's not my fault if you look like a guy.
Real Chance of Love 2, Back in the Saddle, premieres tomorrow at 9. Catch a sneak peek now at realchance.vh1.com.
So, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say I Love New York and all that, let me give you like a little backstory. VH1 had a reality show called The Surreal Life, where they had pretty much just like old celebrities, like, I hate to call anybody a D-list celebrity, but that's kind of what they were. They were D-list celebrities. They would get them all together. They would live in a house. And I think they were there for like maybe 2 weeks or something. And that was it. And on that show, they had Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen, who they had this like little romance thing going on. It was super weird. It was really weird. And then they actually had their own little like spin-off where they were like in love and stuff. They broke up at the end of the show. And then VH1 was like, oh my God, let's give this weird dude a dating show. Keep in mind, Flav is like 50 something at this time. So they got all these like 20-year-old hotties to come and live in this mansion they rented to film the show. He would give them nicknames. Now, a girl from that show, she wasn't a girl, she was a full-grown woman. Her name was Tiffany Pollard, who we all affectionately know as New York. She got her own spin-off. Also from the whole Flavor of Love, or as it became kind of referred to, the For Love of series, was Rock of Love, which was same thing as Flavor of Love, except for had Bret Michaels from Poison. And then you had Charm School, where they took all of the girls from Flavor of Love and Rock of Love, and they put them together in a house, and they tried to teach them how to have manners. I don't know. You also had I Love Money, which loved that show. I Love Money was a competition reality show that featured cast members from all of the For Love of series. They would all come together, do physical and mental challenges in hopes of winning $250,000. That is a lot of money to be giving away on a reality show. I also mixed a couple of things together, so we'll see how this foundation ends up looking, I fear. So from Rock of Love, you actually had this girl. Her name was Megan Hauserman. She was a Playboy cyber model. It was the early 2000s. Cyber modeling was a thing. Playboy was trying. Megan had actually been on a show called Beauty and the Geek, and she won the 3rd season of that show. Now, that show was just, they would take like dumb pretty girls and like pair them with geeks, and they would make them do like mental and social challenges. And so she won that show, and a few months later, she was a contestant on Rock of Love. Her character, she was a gold digger. She was a hot gold digger. She didn't win. She was also on I Love Money. She didn't win, but she got final 3. She found out that they thought she was gonna win. Actually, the producers were like kind of really betting on her winning. That's what they were going for, but they didn't tell her that. I put concealer on first before I put primer, but we're just gonna deal with it. But before Megan left, like literally when she was eliminated, a female producer stopped her and pitched her own show to her. So the final series was Megan Wants a Millionaire, which is where our story really starts to take off. The premise was Megan had several millionaires competing for her love and affection while showering her with gifts. There was actually like a store in this mansion they rented that was full of expensive gifts for Megan. I'm not even kidding. They could like charge their credit cards. Megan actually signed a 3-season deal with this show, so she had arrived. And the first season started filming in early 2009, and it began to air in August. I think the date was August 2nd, 2009. Only 3 episodes aired on VH1 before news broke out about a contestant who was on the show, a man named Ryan Jenkins. So Ryan was a Canadian man who claimed to be a real estate developer worth $2.5 million. Of course, it came out he himself was not worth $2.5 million, but his family was, so he just like grew up around money. He'd always, lived in the lap of luxury. His family owned properties in different countries. They had a private jet. So he knew what the high life was about. I'm probably going to just insert a few clips so you can see what this guy was like.
Hello, Megan.
Look, we're matching already.
We are matching. Have you met any Canadians before?
Never.
Well, it's about time, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Can I let you in on a little secret?
Please do. Ryan whispers in my ear, you're gonna love Canadian bacon.
Save me a spot for dinner, okay?
With the viewers, we never got to see how things played out, like how well they got along, how far he got. Megan Hauserman actually left the internet for 10 years after all this, maintaining no public social media and kind of leaving the world, me, to wondering what happened to her. And just this year, actually, just like February or March, Megan came back. She started an Instagram and she started posting on YouTube again. So that's pretty cool. Also, other cast members started coming forward and talking about their experiences with Ryan as well. Megan said in an interview she and Ryan had an immediate connection. They really liked each other. He stated very quickly that he would, kind of want to marry her fast so he could get his green card, but he had kind of an arrangement offer for her as well.
So you think that you could leave Canada?
Well, I can't legally work here unless I'm married.
Oh. So
We'd have
you're
to get
using
married.
me for a green card?
I tell you this, if we get married, I won't get you to sign a prenup.
The 2 most romantic words in the English language. No prenup.
And I'm definitely not going home tonight.
Megan said he checked all the boxes for her and they quickly developed real feelings for one another. She even said that he was the one that she really wanted to pick at the end, and he did make it till final 3. Now, if you don't know about these shows, when you get to final 3, they usually do some kind of like creative challenge thing that involves your like ex or your family coming out, and then you're like interacting to see like what their personal life is really like. So the show actually flew out members of Ryan's family, and they, along with Megan, went to like a family therapy session, essentially. At the final 3 elimination is when Megan got rid of Ryan. So she actually eliminated him in front of his entire family. That's pretty crushing. She said it was producers that pushed her to get rid of him, that she actually did not want to, and it was very emotional. She cried a lot. But yeah, she said producers pushed her. They said, well, you can pick Ryan if you want, and you can ruin your entire show. We have only 2 more seasons to film, but whatever. So she was like, okay, yeah, the show, that makes sense. It was very emotional when she eliminated Ryan and his entire family. It was really heartbreaking because they had real feelings for each other. She felt a lot of guilt because it seemed to her anyway that this event kind of led to a downward spiral. And Megan, girl, if you happen to ever watch this is not your fault. None of that was your fault. I honestly believe Megan got really lucky. So after he was eliminated, Megan said he blew up her phone a lot, but she couldn't really answer because they were still filming. She had all these cameras on her. There wasn't any way that she could get away and text him or call him or anything. She was always pretty much mic'd and all that. But it was only, 2 days left of filming. They were final 2. They were going to be going to Mexico. They always went to Mexico for the final episode. And when she got back, she would call him. She would tell him that she loved him. And she actually said that she kind of planned to try and secretly date him while continuing to film the show. So she went to Mexico. She picked the guy that she didn't want to pick for ratings and all that. I think she said she never really talked to him again, that he was a nice guy, he just wasn't her type. She got back to the States 4 days later. I think this would make it March 20th or something like that, 20th or 21st. I'm kind of estimating based on what they talked about. Megan got back to the US and she immediately called Ryan, hoping to explain to him what the producers said and you know, get back with him and tell him what her feelings were and that she really did want to date him. She never got the chance because when she called him, he told her that he had met his soulmate, the love of his life. They had the same birthday. That's how he knew it was like meant to be. And they were already married. And this woman was a totally new woman in his life. It wasn't somebody that he'd known previously. So after being kicked off the show 4 days later, he has a wife. Megan was like, oh, okay, obviously I guess I don't know this guy at all because he just married some woman 4 days later. And this woman's name was Jasmine Fiore. Jasmine Fiore was a nighttime promotional model and a real estate agent and a professional trainer in Las Vegas. She was obviously very beautiful. Jasmine never had a problem with finding men. Because she was actually like a promotional model, you know, she sometimes even would date minor celebrities. So she was pretty well known in the Las Vegas nightlife, kind of like, I mean, a minor celebrity in the area. Sometimes she would actually see a few guys at the same time because, well, why not? When you're a pretty girl, you can. But it causes issues and rifts and things like that. So that doesn't always go over well with everybody else that's involved. Imagine that. She met Ryan and she felt the same way. They had the same birthday. Obviously, they're a match made in heaven. So they got married very quickly. Some suggest that there was even like an arrangement with them. Once again, that he wanted a green card. She wanted to be a trophy wife and be taken care of. She was under the impression that he was a rich man, which, you know, he claimed to be. We already know he claimed that with Megan. Very quickly, she realized he was not. Shocker. He didn't have any money and she always had to pay for everything. He would always say this was because like, oh, his money was tied up because of immigration and stuff, but like, honestly, I don't really know how that makes any sense. Sure, Ryan. Whatever. The relationship was very rocky from the get-go. Lots of fighting, lots of splitting up, getting back together. He was even arrested at a nightclub in Las Vegas as a result of a fight that they had. He actually pushed her into a pool because I don't know if you've ever been to Las Vegas, but they got these like really cool nightclubs that have like pools in them and stuff. It's really sweet. I got powder all over my black shirt and I don't remember what I was saying. Where was I? They got married, pushed her in the pool. So yeah, pushed her in the pool, got arrested for that. The final straw for her, she left Las Vegas. She wanted out of this marriage. She hightailed it to Los Angeles. Ryan, he followed because he wanted to win her back. She was his wife. He wanted to do whatever he could. And it seems that they actually did reconcile, but the patterns of behavior between the two of them never changed. It hit a breaking point when Jasmine found him in bed with another woman. I think this was like probably like June of that year, 2009. Around this time, 51 Minds, and 51 Minds is the producers of like Flavor of Love and I Love New York and Megan Wants a Millionaire and I Love Money. They reached out to Ryan and they said, hey, we're gonna be filming season 3 of I Love Money. Do you want to be on it? And he was like, oh my God, I could win that $250,000 and I could give it to Jasmine and I could win her back that way. So he signed up. He told her he was going to go do the show. He was going to go win this for her. And when he came back, he was going to give her all of the money, all $250,000 of it. I Love Money is a competition reality show. It's kind of physical. They have mental challenges, physical challenges. You create alliances. If you watch Survivor or the MTV's A Challenge, same thing, just with people from the I Love shows and stuff like that. And his partner in crime alliance member, her name was Lacey. Lacey was from Rock of Love and she was on Charm School. I actually think her and Megan probably know each other, like, to some extent, because they were on the same shows together. So her and Ryan kind of created a bond. Lacey said Ryan won pretty much every single challenge. He was just such a dominant physical competitor that she said it would have been stupid for her to not create an alliance with him. So she sided with him in the game, but she said that she really wouldn't like hang out with him in real life or anything. He was really flashy. He wore like Louis Vuitton flip-flops to this competition reality show, and he would like just flaunt like things that he had and flaunt the wealth, and that's just not her vibe. I always liked Lacey. She just played like a really bitchy character, essentially. That was kind of her jam. Along with them just kind of like working together in the game to get farther, he actually started to confide in her about his wife, about Jasmine, and how much he loved her and how he really wanted to win her back and how he wanted to win this to get this money for her because she was so important to him. They did also discuss how much Lacey loved riding horses and that so did Jasmine. Ryan wanted Lacey to take Jasmine horseback riding when they got back, you know, to kind of like win Jasmine over a little more. She was like, I'm down with it. After they wrapped I Love Money, Lacey said she did reach out a couple times and they tried to text and set up time a little bit. Last time she sent a text though, it was too late. So other fun fact, it turns out Ryan did win I Love Money 3. He actually won the $250 million, but it never aired. It probably wasn't even edited. On August 15th, 2009, a little after 7 a.m., a man was out walking his dog and just doing some good old-fashioned dumpster diving when he found a suitcase. He opened the suitcase. I would have never. He opened the suitcase and saw cat hair. He didn't see cat hair. And he saw what appeared to be human skin with marks on it. Smart man, he just called the police. When police arrived, they discovered in the suitcase the body of a young brunette woman in the fetal position. Her fingers and her teeth had all been removed. Investigators assumed this was, to keep from identifying her. Her identity, however, would be discovered by a different distinguishing characteristic a few days after her discovery, and that was her breast implants. They actually helped solve her case. You see, every breast implant has a serial number on it. That way you can look at the serial number, you can tell who the manufacturer was, where it was made, when it was made, what batch it was made in, what doctors it was sent to, and who the doctor put it in. And the victim who had this breast implant in here was identified as Jasmine Fiore. Like I said though, it took a couple days to ID her. In the meantime, that actually gave Ryan about a 3-day head start on his crime. He tried to cover his tracks, but he wasn't really very good at it. The case developed pretty quickly and it did start to become kind of an international manhunt. The day her body was discovered, Ryan actually reported his wife missing. She was found at 7 a.m. but he didn't report her missing until a little after 8 p.m. that night. He said that they had returned home from Del Mar. They had been there for a charity poker game. And then when they got home, she dropped him off at their apartment, said that she had to run some errands, and then she just never came back. She took off in her white Mercedes and he never saw her again. Sure. So police were treating that as a missing persons case, and then they had this murder case over here. At this point, police had not connected the two cases. In the meantime, Ryan, sneaky, he was trying to leave the country. Now, Ryan won I Love Money 3, but because the show hadn't aired yet or anything, he couldn't have the money yet. He wasn't allowed to have his earnings. Reports say that he did go to the 51 Mines office and was demanding the money. And, they're like, we can't give it to you because, spoilers and stuff. It's said that they did offer him or did give him a couple $1,000s for, his appearance fees or whatever. Because even when you're on the show, you still get, some money if you don't win. And then he, took off. So police did identify Jasmine. And they were like, all right, well, we need to figure out. We need to talk to her husband. We need to talk to this Ryan guy. So they reached out to him for information to be like, hey, can you, come in and talk to us about your wife so we can, get some more info? He told them that he was in Utah. He was there taking care of some immigration stuff. Utah's not the place I go to in my mind when I'm trying to figure out immigration. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I don't know anything about being an immigrant. A warrant was put out for his arrest and he found out about it. So he officially went on the run. Like I said, he had a 3-day head start. So with this 3-day head start, he actually drove to Blaine, Washington, and he had a boat with him, so I guess he thought he was gonna get in the water and take a boat and go around the border. I don't know. It didn't work. Police got there. They actually found his vehicle. It was still warm, and they found the boat in the water, so he didn't actually take the boat. It's believed that he just walked across the border because Mounties didn't know. I think that's what they're called, Canadian Mounties. Canadian police didn't know that there was a warrant out for him or anything, so they weren't looking for him. And then after 3 days of searching for him, he was found in a hotel in a small city called Hope in Canada. Ryan Jenkins was found hanging by his own belt. He was actually found by the manager of the hotel. The manager entered the room because Ryan, actually a woman who brought Ryan to the hotel, paid for 3 days and then left. It is unsure who that woman is. Some think it's Ryan's sister, but no charges or anything have ever been brought, and it's been asked that, they leave her alone. He said that he had seen him around a couple days, the manager seeing Ryan, that is, and that he didn't recognize Ryan because Ryan had bleached his hair. He'd actually lost a considerable amount of weight from his wanted pictures. So the guy just didn't recognize him at all. After his death, they did find Jasmine's white Mercedes. They found it in a parking lot in California. And when they found it, they were pretty sure they had found the crime scene. They began to be able to piece together what had actually happened the night of August 13th, going into August 14th. It's gonna be tricky, but we're gonna do it. So on August 13th, Ryan and Jasmine checked into, I don't know how to say this, it's like the La Barge in Del Mar. It's supposed to be really, really fancy. I don't know. I will never be able to afford to go there. So they checked in. They actually had a penthouse, and the penthouse was on floor level. So they actually had a door that went to the outside from their room. If they left their patio door unlocked, they could actually enter their hotel without ever going in the lobby. That evening, they headed over to the San Diego Hilton for a charity poker tournament. I think he was just playing and she was there because, nightlife, poker players. Maybe she even knew some people because she's from Vegas, Okay, it just became way too hard to, try and talk and do the eyeliner at the same time. So it was at the poker tournament, they began to argue. And a lot of people said it was because she was talking to another man through text messages or maybe even phone calls. And she was telling him she was talking to her mom. It's 12:30 at night or something. Talking to her mom at 12:30? I don't call my mom on the phone at 12:30 unless it's an emergency. So surveillance cameras actually showed that they left the Hilton at 2:30 and they were waiting in the valet for her white Mercedes. It's believed that in the car, Ryan actually beat Jasmine repeatedly. Possibly this may have been where she died. When they found her vehicle, the passenger side was covered in blood, and it said that it even looked like she had been kind of squirming to in an attempt to get away. Underneath the car, stuck in the bottom, investigators found twigs and mud and grass, kind of insinuating that the car had been driven off-roading. It's not really what you do with a Mercedes. At 4:30 a.m., Ryan is shown on CCTV arriving back to the hotel. He is entering his room via the hallway alone, and he's kind of in a rush. It's believed that he actually had Jasmine out on the patio. She was either already deceased or she was unconscious. They actually found spots of blood and her hair in various spots, he had set her down outside. At 5:03, Ryan is seen again on CCTV because there's a camera right outside of his room, and he's holding the receiver to the phone from his room in his hand. It appears that he kind of hides it above a cabinet outside, and then he goes and he gets some ice and he goes back in his room. Then around 6 a.m. it's reported that he actually carries a bunch of clothes out to his car in his hands, not in a suitcase. Very suspicious. Then he checked out on August 14th at 9 a.m. and he was totally alone. At some point, he tried to remove any of the identifying traits and he loaded her into the car, and then he dumped her back in Los Angeles in the park. So this all played out after the third season of Megan Wants a Millionaire aired. I remember finding out about this on Nintendo Wii News. I don't know why I was getting the news from Nintendo Wii. It must have been a boring day. Because of that, 51 Minds pulled all the episodes of Megan Wants a Millionaire, and it pretty much ruined all of the shows in that entire genre. This is why we never got an I Love New York season 3, which I'm still really salty about not getting an I Love New York season 3. I loved that show. A lot of people also lost their jobs because of this, because now this company basically was more or less out of business, and a lot of people were upset. It was also discovered that in 2007 and actually in 1999, Ryan Jenkins had been arrested on separate occasions for assault. Now, a lot of people were like, what the heck? Don't you guys do background checks? What's going on? How come this didn't pop up? Well, the company that 51 Minds usually used, which was a company called Collective, they only did American background checks. So Collective actually had to outsource to a company called Straight Line International, and they it up. They literally didn't find any of these. Specifically, the fact that he had actually been on a 15-month probation for assault and had to undergo court-ordered treatment for a sex addiction. Nobody found this before they put him on the show. There was a lawsuit for this. I couldn't really find out what the outcome of it was though. For some reason this company still exists. So don't use Straight Line International for your background checks. Okay, let me put some lip stuff on and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. All right, we are back and here is the finished look. I feel like I'm kind of it's a little fall-like, it's a little goth-like, you know. Whatever. It's cute. I'm into it. The green really pops with the red and it's almost kind of Christmassy. Anyway, guys, that is the tragic story of Ryan Jenkins and Jasmine Fiore and the fall of Megan Wants a Millionaire, I Love New York, and the production company of 51 Minds. I was always really disappointed by how everything happened. I mean, obviously, because, yeah, somebody died, that's really disappointing. But I loved all these shows. I was watching Megan Wants a Millionaire, and I was kind of, a little crushed that the show didn't continue, because I think the 4th episode was supposed to air on my birthday, and I was like, oh, that's the only thing I was looking forward to that year. Recently, like I said, Megan did return to the internet. She's on Instagram. I will put her Instagram link below so you can follow her. She did also start uploading on her YouTube again. She actually started uploading the episodes that aired and 2 episodes that didn't. So she had episode 4 and episode 5 are on her YouTube channel. The 2nd and 3rd episode she did upload, but for some reason got taken down. I don't know why. She said that she actually had those episodes. They were sent to her, you know, and then she just kind of put them in a closet and didn't really want to look at them or anything, but people have been missing her. So we're happy to have her back. I will also link her channel down below. The clips that I've played in this episode are mostly from her channel, actually straight from Megan and Megan Wants to Be a Millionaire. I will also I listened to a couple podcasts where somebody did a couple interviews with Megan and Lacey and other people, so I will also link those down below as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's true crime story. This is a crime story that I think about a lot and really hit home because it somewhat actually affected me just in terms of what happened to my entertainment. All right, remember you guys, if you liked this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the Taco Bell icon so you get a notification every time I post. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.